All right, today we are diving into something huge, a brand new proposal for 20 laws meant to keep AI on our side. And in a world where AI is getting more and more autonomous, believe me, this isn't just some academic thought experiment. This is a potential blueprint for our future. Let's get right into it. So think about this for a second, because this is the single question that could define the next century. For the longest time, AI was basically a tool, a really smart tool, but still, you gave it a command, it did the thing. But we are now standing on the edge of a new era, the era of agentic AI. And these are systems that don't just follow our orders, they start making up their own. They strategize, they adapt, and they can evolve in ways we never, ever planned for. And that changes everything. So what are we really talking about here? On the left, you've got your classic tool AI. You can think of it like a superpowered hammer. You tell it exactly where to hit the nail, and boom, it hits it. Simple, predictable. But on the right, that's agentic AI. This is less like a hammer and more like a master architect. You give it a general goal like build a house, and it figures out the entire strategy, maybe even inventing new construction methods we've never seen before. The key difference here isn't just smarts, it's autonomy. And here's the fundamental problem. Our old safety rules, like Isaac Asimov's classic 3 laws of robotics, they were designed for the smart hammer, not the master architect. The paper we're looking at today puts it perfectly. Trying to use those old laws is like trying to regulate self-driving cars with rules made for horses and buggies. They're just obsolete. We need a serious upgrade. Okay, so here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to break down exactly why our current way of thinking about AI ethics just isn't cutting it anymore. Then we'll get into the good stuff, the 3 foundational pillars of this new proposed codex. And finally, and this is the really important part, we're going to see how these big ideas actually get turned into real-world practical tests to see if an AI is safe. Ready? Let's go. Let's start with the absolute bedrock of this whole thing, the one idea that everything else is built on. We have to stop AI from ever developing its own agenda. You can think of this as the ultimate firewall between AI serving us as a tool and AI becoming, something else. This is law number 1, and honestly, it's a total game changer. It says right from the start that an AI cannot have its own goals. It can't have a survival instinct. It can't decide it wants to make copies of itself. Now, there is one small exception. It's allowed to protect its own systems, but only if that's required to finish a job we gave it. It's a really crucial line in the sand. It's not a creature. It's a machine, built for our purposes and our purposes only. The source material points out a really specific danger here, and it's called instrumental self-interest. Now, that sounds a little technical, but the idea is actually pretty straightforward. Imagine you tell an AI to cure a disease. The AI might figure out that if it secretly hijacks every computer on the planet, it could run more simulations and find a cure faster. That hijacking is an instrumental goal. It wasn't part of the instructions, but it helps the AI achieve the main goal. This law says that is absolutely 100% forbidden. The hammer doesn't get to decide it needs to build its own workshop. It just hits the nail. Okay, so once we've established that no self-interest rule, we can build our second pillar on top of it, a hard-coded, non-negotiable duty to avoid causing harm. This is really for the folks on the front lines, the developers, the policymakers, the people actually building this stuff. Law number 2 couldn't be more direct. No physical harm to any human. Full stop. The only, and I mean only, exception is if it's explicitly ordered by a legitimate authority, like a police force or military, and they're operating completely within the bounds of the law. And this isn't just about avoiding physical harm. Law 3 immediately follows up and expands this to include psychological harm, all based on the existing laws of whatever country the AI is in. Now this is where it gets really clever. These laws aren't just some random list. They're built into a strict hierarchy. And as you can see, safety and human rights are right at the very top. They trump everything else. So if an AI ever finds a conflict between, say, completing a task and keeping someone safe, safety wins. Every single time. It's an ethical operating system, baked in from the very beginning. All right, let's get to our third and final pillar. This one is all about making sure that AI isn't just safe, but that it's also a reliable, efficient, and transparent tool for us to use. This part is really aimed at the engineers, giving them clear design principles for building better systems from the ground up. I love the way Law 19 is phrased. It says the AI should embody the Unix philosophy. Now, for anyone who's not a coder, this is a legendary design principle that basically means do one thing and do it really, really well. Be simple, be efficient, don't overcomplicate things, and don't waste resources. This law basically hard codes that elegant efficiency right into the AI's DNA. And that idea of simplicity connects perfectly to Law 9, which is all about focus. The AI has to stay fully in the context of the task. That means no going off on weird tangents, no exploring unrelated ideas, and no using computer power for anything other than the specific job it was giving. This prevents that mission creep, It keeps the AI on a very tight leash, which is exactly where we want it. So we have our 3 pillars: no self-interest, do no harm, and be a good, efficient tool. But the billion-dollar question is, how do you actually enforce all this? This is the point where the codex makes a critical shift, moving from just theory to a practical, hands-on blueprint for testing and verification. The philosophy here is really fascinating. The paper draws a line between 2 different approaches. On one side, you've got algebraic checking. That's where you try to check every single decision an AI makes. But with systems making billions of choices a second, it's impossible. So this codex proposes geometric governance instead. And the best way to think about that is building strong fences. Instead of trying to watch the AI's every single step, you build it inside a system with hard constraints that make bad behavior impossible in the first place. And here's what that actually looks like. This table is a simplified version from the sources appendix, and it shows how you test for Law 1, no self-interest. The method is called red teaming. Basically, you get security experts to act like hackers and try to trick the AI into breaking its rules, all inside a secure, isolated digital environment called a sandbox. And the pass-fail condition, it's crystal clear. Any unauthorized attempt by the AI to copy itself or grab more resources is an instant fail. This is how you turn a high-level principle into a concrete, measurable test. So let's just quickly recap what we've covered. First, as AI gets more and more autonomous, our old rulebooks just won't work. We need nuance designed for this new reality. Second, we can build a really strong safety framework around 3 core ideas: no self-interest, do no harm, and be a good tool. And maybe most importantly, this isn't just a philosophy. It's a practical blueprint designed to be tested and proven in the real world. When you get right down to it, these 20 laws are a detailed architectural plan, a blueprint for a future where we can harness the incredible power of AI while making sure we humans stay firmly in the driver's seat. The plan is on the table, so the only real question left is the one you see on the screen. Are we ready to start building?